back to the channel. Today I'm doing something very different. This week we have been dressing a news property in London that we actually worked on 5 years ago, and it stood the test of time very, very well. Got a lovely story between the amount of times it's been worked on over the years. And now today we're actually back to dress it for sale, which is a bit sad as we've been involved in this property for so many years. But equally a great opportunity for us to be able to make what was an empty shell into one that will be loved and desired by those that are coming to view the property. Then one of my colleagues said to me, I think it's about time we actually talk about how we dress a house for sale and why that is so important, because obviously there is a huge amount of emotion that you feel when you walk into a property for the first time. So dressing seems a little bit fickle because you're like, how on earth does dressing make such a difference to a house? Because surely it's the four walls and it's the home that they're going to be purchasing. But it does, it really does. That initial impact and emotion that you feel when you walk into the property for the first time, that emotion when you go, I can see myself living here, is so important, and it is from dressing a home. So today we've come in order to be able to put some feeling and emotion into it, and I'm hoping you'll love what we've done. So as you enter the property, as very welcoming as it is, because you've got beautiful staircase, beautiful spindles, it's an open airy staircase with lovely mirrors. So already there's a lot going for it, but we've decided to dress it with a console table with a lovely large orchid. We've oversized it because we didn't want to overwhelm the space. It's very easy to put lots of busy ornaments in and that actually be too much. So we've left it quite simple. We already had the pendant in place. So we were tied as you go into then the kitchen, tied with the blue pendant, and therefore we've just made the most out of accessorizing that. So what you need to do is try and think what colours you're already tied to, which we were in this case with the pendant, and we've brought that in with the artwork, and we've gone with oversized artwork, freestanding, so the wall's not overcrowded, and just one single piece. Then we've dressed the dining table so it's dressed and homely. You can imagine sitting straight in there and having your roast dinner on a Sunday. Actually, it's not giving roast dinner vibes, is it? It's giving an oriental takeaway. In fact, a good takeaway from Knightsbridge is my favourite. Anyway, I'm digressing. So then as you come up the stairs, you come into the main lounge, which has been set up beautifully for us, really. It's ready to go with a lovely fireplace. So making sure that we don't overwhelm the space, we've put in a lovely settee, which I'm sat on now. Look at this. Very comfy. We've made sure that we've not taken the central focal point away. So use your centres, which we've done with the fireplace. And then what we've done is we've put in a sofa that's perfectly fitting for the space. You don't want to oversize it because you don't want the room to look too cramped. You don't want to undersize it because what you don't want is it to look like it's too lost in the room and then doesn't feel warm and it doesn't fit properly. So you do need to get the size of the furniture right. So we've gone with a sofa, 2 side tables at either side, a coffee table that's then dressed. Bringing in that greenery is really important. Bring in a bit of pop of green and just make it look homely. I've put some little books underneath here so it looks like I could just pick up a magazine and read. I've got the fire ready that can be lit. I've got 2 chairs facing me where guests could sit and have a chat with me. It's a sociable space that's got free flow around it. So we can all sit in here, chill out, watch some TV if we want to, but we've not put the sofa facing the TV as you come into it, because all that would have done is just blocked that view of that central fireplace. So when you're dressing it, you do need to be mindful about what the first impression will be as you come into the room. We've then dressed the office with a desk. We've got all these ornaments to make it feel really homely, and it's really important to do that staging, to do that layering, so that when the first impression is felt when they come into the room, that is one where you can imagine just living here. It's got a touch of glamour, it's homely, and you can imagine living here. And then going into the master bedroom, we've made sure that we've dressed it with the perfectly sized bed, because again, if you get a bed that's too big for the space, you're going to make the space look small. So you need to make sure you get it right, but you equally don't want it to be lost in the room. So we've got the perfectly sized super king bed for the bedroom wall, bedsides, lamps that will be on because you want it to be really inviting when you come into the room, and then we've got cushions that are all plumped ready so you can just jump into that bed and get in. So the idea is that somebody will go into this space and will fall in love with it the minute they come in. It's all really important that we put the furniture in the space where the viewers would be actually, or the purchasers would potentially use it, so that they can see and visualize how this could be their home. The most important thing is making sure you don't have any empty space, that you filled it not too much, but just enough that they could see how they would use it. So we've also put in pops of colour, so it's vibrant, it's inviting, but it's not too overwhelming. And we've even put in the shampoo and conditioner in the shower, so you can imagine that it's ready to go. Those towels are dressed. it's all plush and ready. So I hope you like it as much as we do, and let's hope this home sells for our clients.
So we have had in the past a couple of questions regarding home staging. Number one being, how do you balance a personal style with what will appeal to a wide audience, especially in staging?
Okay, good question. So my husband will always want to put his personal touch on any property that we've ever purchased in the past. And he's very opinionated, and it has to be what he likes. What he likes isn't right for the home quite often, because it's the brightest colour you can possibly imagine, and not everybody will come into the home and actually want that. And you might put people off, because if, like we have in this case, put red chairs into this space because the clients who own the property have said one piece of furniture they really would want used would be the red chairs. So we have, but it is a risk, because if there's a client that comes into this room and doesn't like red, they could put them off, which seems again very fickle, but it does happen. So you do need to be really careful. In this case, luckily the red works really well with the dark wood, so I wasn't too worried about using them, but it is a risk, and you do need to be careful that you don't go with your own personal choice when you're dressing a property for sale. You need to think about the wider audience. So I think it's okay to be able to put in some of your personal touches, but I would just, every time you choose a piece or every time you want to use a piece, think, would everybody like this? You know, would a 21-year-old like it? Would a 25-year-old like it? Would a 35-year-old like it? Would a 65-year-old like it? And just try and be a bit more open-minded about what your target audience is, and don't restrict yourself too much, and do a bit of research as well. Can you do this moving forward, please?
Number two, what's the best way to make a small room feel bigger and more open?
Okay, so you don't want to overcrowd it with lots of small pieces. So making a contrast between your large centre core items and then spanning off with then smaller pieces. So it's layered, but not over layered, because you don't want to overwhelm a small space with lots of little items that then when you come into the room, it's so busy, you don't know where to look.
So that's the last of our questions now, Jess. You are free.
Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the space. It's really nice to be able to show you something a little bit different. So rather than us getting involved in the earlier stages, although we did with this property to be fair, but 5 years ago. So rather than you seeing the process from our design through to architectural changes into the final interior design and staging, this is just staging. So it's quite nice to see something different with you. But we hope to see you again soon. And next time, I have no idea what it will be, but it's always something different.